a mainstay with 136 strikeouts for Nebraska so far this season. That's roped into left field, down the line and fair. That's going to trickle all the way to the wall. One run is in. The second runner will stop at third base. Caden Brumbaugh with an RBI double, and Nebraska's out to a 1-0 lead.
And with that hit, we were just talking about it, that's a 9-game hitting streak now for Brumbaugh.
Look at that pull. Turns the handle so quickly.
Yeah, just
Wow.
a beautiful job there by Brumbaugh to get Nebraska up on the board first. This is almost exactly how it happened last night. Wichita State, no runs in the first inning. They did get a runner on in that first inning, and then Nebraska now able to put one up on the board. But the difference is they've still got no outs here in this first inning.
Cale Frost next up. He's kind of come back down to earth lately, hitting .211 on the season. The Summit League Player of the Year a season ago. On that last play, Wiljeski made his way to the plate, and then Sanderson scored. Cale Frost, over the last 5 games, 7 strikeouts, but has scored 5 times. 1-0 on the way from Dobbs, letting the pitch clock wind. Breaking ball misses way outside. Interesting thing about Frost, as we were just talking about strikeouts, Cale Frost has played in 12 games this season. Did not strike out in the opener against UC Irvine, but has recorded at least 1 strikeout in every game since.
Yeah, he's up to 15 strikeouts, and for the entire season last year he had recorded 44. So, a third of the way to a strikeout total, and for Nebraska, you want to see that come down a little bit, especially with his low batting average.
Frost did go 1 for 3 yesterday, scored a run with an RBI. Also put a walk on the board as well. It's 3-0 right now. Dobbs is really having to work here. And there is activity down in that Shocker bullpen. Here is that 3-0, inside ball 4. Dobbs now with 3 walks in the inning.
Yeah, not a great start here for Tyler Dobbs. His career high was 5 against Tulane last year, and with 3 walks in the first inning, it's a midweek game, so it's not the guys who are normally going to take a lot of the innings on the season. But for Dobbs, this is a chance still to prove to your head coach and your team that you can be relied on.
First pitch on the way is fouled by Swanson.
And you talked about coming back down to earth here for Nebraska. Gabe Swanson definitely coming back down to earth, only batting .176 on the season. His OPS at a .571. Only 2 homers. He only had 8 all of last season.
A lot of those did come in clutch times, though. Next pitch, Mian misses it, and that probably was a strike.
Yeah, it's the second time that's happened where, it looks like he might be just closing the glove just a little bit too early, because that's, the same thing happened last time. Ball went out to his left.
Got to remember, though, that Mian made his debut for the season about a week ago.
Yeah, exactly 1 week ago.
March 5th, made his season debut against Abilene Christian. Next one is through the hole into left field. 1 run is home. Here comes the second runner. 2 RBI single. 3-0 Nebraska leads. And also played 2 seasons with the new Big Ten team, the Washington Huskies. That's where she started her collegiate career, and then went to UC Santa Barbara for 2 seasons, finishing up here at Oregon. Nisley will take a 3. That one was just a little too high, but Markowski with the offensive board. So a fresh chance for the Huskers. Rimdahl up and around, and Nebraska leads.
She is really fast when getting around the edge on the outside. Really good going up with the right hand.
20-18, Huskers lead. And a steal for Nisley, up against the 6'8" Che. Nebraska will slow down in transition. Petrie goes down low to Markowski. Nisley back to Markowski. Going on skates, left hand, not enough. But Petrie somehow ends up with the rebound. Here's a three from the corner. That is short and off the top of the backboard.
Wow. Nebraska doing a good job to rebound and play defensive transition basketball. Logan Nisley with that big steal over on Shea in the corner. Gave Nebraska that set to get open, but Markowski was just unable to knock that one down. Huskers still lead by 2, though, here in the second quarter.
Over the last 9+ minutes of gameplay, Nebraska has outscored Oregon 20-8. And that is since that timeout that Amy Williams took with 8 minutes on the clock there in that first quarter.
You wonder what she said to ignite that spark inside this team.
That three is missed by Scott. And a push on Oregon. They'll get Shea on that one.
Yeah, and Markowski just goes down here on the absolute shove from Shea. Markowski had the rebound, but Shea just said, nah, no you don't. Enjoy the ground.
Filipina Shea, the senior out of Calgary, Alberta. Started every game a season ago, but she's played in every game this season, but has only started 20 now.
And
there's a three from Nisley. That's good.
So I was going to say, Shea's the tallest player ever in Oregon history. Pretty cool as well. But that count on 8-3 was pretty better.
All of a sudden, after Logan Nisley's three, Nebraska leads by 5. 23-18. 2 minutes gone here in the second quarter. Here's a three from Scott. That one is good. We're raining threes.
Wow. It's the 8th combined 3 here in the first 13 minutes of the ball game. Might have a shootout on our hands here, Danny.
Petrie looked to get inside. Now Rimdahl will go for 3. That one a little long. Petrie keeps it in. Nisley somehow keeps it alive. Markowski going to work inside. Got it off the glass.
Nice play to get the ball inside to Markowski. Even though she's got the mismatch underneath, she uses her position to get it outside, put it up, down for 2.
25-21. Nebraska leads and a steal for Rimdahl. As I was mentioning, this has been a pretty strong Washington defense. When it comes to conference play in particular, they've only had one game where they've given up 2 or more goals, and that was against Indiana back on September 29th when it was a 3-1 Hoosier win. For the most part, this has been a very stout Washington defense, and they're having a fantastic day here in Lincoln. Collision here right in front of us, Audra Clark and Maya Loud.
Yeah.
Going to stay with Nebraska.
Yeah, the feet getting tangled up, and you'll see it right there. Loud tries to take over and ends up tripping Audra Clark, and that's going to be a foul just about every time.
23-30 left here in half number 2. Lauren Anglin will reset. She's standing in that row of numbers in the middle of the field. She'll be kicking it from Florence Belziel's number. Sadie Waite will get it off to Haley Peterson, and Peterson has got a little bit of room to run, passes it up, finds Gwen Lane on the wide left. Lane is able to stay off the tackle, tries to get it into the middle, but unable to find her teammate. Washington is able to clear it out. Reese Bohr will go back to recycle, and now she's going to give it back to Cece Villa to try and reset. She'll get it out to Nicola Hauk, but here comes Washington, able to pick it off. Takes the shot, and Villa can't get her hands on it. It's a score. Alex Buck on the loose ball gets it off the hands of Cece Villa, and the Huskies lead 2-0.
And that's the risk of coming out of your own box that far. Villa got as close to it as she could, even made contact, but with Alex Buck, a lot of wide open goal for her to work with, and she's able to make the play.
Alex Buck with her first collegiate goal, hailing from Medina, Washington, and boy, does that one feel good. Huskies get some insurance. Oh, just look at that on the bench. All of her teammates giving her big hugs. Look at her jump up into her teammates' arms. What a moment for Alex Buck.
Yeah, it's a cool one. That's one you're not going to forget very often.
Put that one in the memory book. Alex Buck, probably the happiest person in Lincoln, Nebraska right now. What a moment. Now the Huskers got to regroup. Just over 22 minutes to play here. And now they need 2 scores, and Haley Peterson is pleading for a call. And she is not happy.
Yeah, we take a look at the replay. She was trying to say.
Third member of our crew. Danny Berg, you have a starting lineup update for Nebraska and an injury update as well.
Bobby and Justice, great to be with you. Yeah, we do have an injury update on the Huskers front redshirt junior. Allison Widener is not suited up and is not expected to play today. She suffered a minor injury to her left leg in the recent game in Sioux Falls, South Dakota against the Coyotes. It is not the same leg that cost her the entire 2023-2024 season. That was on her right leg. She is listed as day-to-day right now, but there's a chance she might play on Friday against Creighton in Omaha. However, that decision will be made before game time. Guys?
Not only has he done so much for the Nebraska volleyball program, but for Nebraska athletics as a whole. So this is really something that started to come to light in recent weeks, but Nebraska volleyball is one of the few women's sports that are actually profiting. Mm-hmm. They made about $1.3 million in the last fiscal year. And they're one of 2 or 3. I know UConn women's basketball is another one. Iowa women's basketball was up there. Oklahoma softball was up there. I think Wisconsin volleyball,
yeah.
They were up there too. So, but this has been going on for Nebraska since 2014, except for the COVID season where nobody was allowed in the venues, and they lost like nearly $2 million that season or something like that. But the stadium match obviously had a lot to do with it. But since moving to Devaney, the interest in this team just has continued to jump. And now that there's been revelations coming out that apparently they somehow found room to squeeze another 1,200 seats in there. I don't know how the heck they're going to do that to bring the capacity to 10,000 again. But a lot of that has to do because of what John Cook did for this program. Because you're going from back in Terry Pettit's days where you're standing outside the Coliseum after football games begging fans to go in for free to go watch the games to selling out the Coliseum, and now you have to move to an arena double the size.
For our endowment, for the DN endowment, one of our stories we're doing is actually just talking more about by the numbers and what if Nebraska volleyball were to move to PBA, and like when. It's honestly not even a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I feel like
it feels like a when now.
And that's just really amazing just to even have this conversation about them, because if they were to go to PBA, they'd still do amazing numbers. They'd still have they'd by far have the best attendance in the country then, and they already have it now. They have that massive sellout streak, and it's just such a demand for Nebraska volleyball, and it's truly it's really kind of just a spectacle. I mean, they do their spring matches all across the state every year, and that's always just an amazing thing to see. And the volleyball day Memorial Stadium was also obviously kind of the pinnacle of that, and it couldn't have been done without John Cook.
I like how you brought up the spring matches, though, because I think this is an interesting layer to this whole cake that we're building here. If you remember last year with the spring match, the game was supposed to be played at Kearney High, and that arena holds, I don't know, maybe 2,000, 2,500, not a huge number. And they ended up having to move the game to UNK because of the supposed demand for tickets. People were lining outside of the ticket office at UNK a day in advance, day and a half in advance. So even that just goes to show you what the commitment of the fans is like, and a lot of what Cook has done is bringing them all in. The sustained success is what's going to keep people around, and we're going to get to that in a moment. But the sustained success is what drives people to want to go to all different parts of the state to go watch it. I mean, he said in his press conference last week that they were scouting out Ord, Nebraska. That town only has 2,000 people in there. So you'd be expecting a massive influx of people to flock that township to go and watch that game. That's just the impact of migration that this program now has.